You're not broken. You're evolving. That emptiness you feel right now isn't failure. It's the silence that comes when the old version of you starts to die. Every man who ever changed his life walked through this same quiet collapse. If you're new here, subscribe to the Marble Sage, where masculinity is forged, not faked, because what you'll hear now isn't about hype, it's about truth. So let's begin at the root, the collapse happening inside you. Every transformation begins with the collapse of an old reward system. When you first start changing your life, the brain releases dopamine each time progress feels new. A new habit, a new goal, a new vision of yourself. But over time, those novelties stop triggering the same chemical rush. You're left with flatness. Most people call this burnout. In neuroscience, it's dopamine downregulation, your brain recalibrating from chasing rewards to building endurance. Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." That silence you feel isn't weakness. It's your nervous system learning to live without constant stimulation. It's not failure. It's adaptation. And once the old reward system breaks, something deeper takes its place. Motivation runs on emotion. Discipline runs on loyalty. When emotion fades, your body stops chasing reward and starts testing integrity. Each morning you act without feeling like it. You teach your brain that action precedes emotion. That's how neural pathways of discipline form behavior first, feeling later, if at all. James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." Systems are loyalty structures. They replace unstable motivation with consistent identity. I am the man who still shows up. But discipline isn't just mental, your biology shifts too. When you train, fast, study, or push past comfort, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. Too much burns you out. The right amount builds resilience. That controlled exposure to discomfort triggers what neuroscientist Andrew Huberman calls adaptive stress. It strengthens dopamine receptors, making the reward pathway more efficient, less dependent on pleasure. In short, the less you need to feel good to keep going, the stronger you become. And when your biology stops chasing pleasure, you're forced to confront meaning. Modern life tells men to feel better. Ancient wisdom told them to be better. Frankl again, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." Pleasure is a signal, meaning is a direction. When motivation dies, the brain forces you to stop chasing signals and search for direction. That's why the collapse hurts. It's tearing down the old loop, so you can anchor to something deeper: purpose, duty, faith, craft. And this is where the real shift happens, inside your daily behavior. Motivation follows a loop. Cue, action, reward. When the reward disappears, most people quit. The masters don't. They remove reward and replace it with identity. Cue, action, confirmation of self. Each repetition becomes proof of who you are. That's why discipline feels quiet, because the pleasure is internal, not chemical. When identity replaces reward, repetition becomes something else entirely. A Zen proverb says, "Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water." Psychologists call this behavioral consistency. When an action becomes identity-based, the brain requires less energy to execute. It moves from the prefrontal cortex to the basal ganglia, from decision to instinct. That's why you no longer need motivation. The work itself has become a ritual. But even with discipline, you'll enter another phase of transformation, the winter of the mind. Every season in nature has a neural equivalent. Your current silence is winter, low dopamine, slow rhythm, energy storage. Biology is telling you to conserve, so you can rebuild. In winter, the seed looks dead. It's not. It's gathering structure. Same with you. When the mind feels empty, your systems are quietly stabilizing. When spring comes, the next burst of motivation, it will land on solid ground. And in that winter, pain shows up, not to break you, but to teach you. Neuroscience calls it prediction error correction. Pain is data. Each time reality breaks your expectation, your brain updates its model of the world. That's why men who suffer with awareness grow faster than those who avoid it. They let pain teach them where they were, blind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Pain isn't punishment, it's orientation. And when pain strips away your illusions, only one thing keeps you moving: faith. Faith isn't belief without proof. It's movement without certainty. When you keep acting, training, writing, building, with no visible result, you're engaging the highest form of executive control. You override the limbic system's need for reward and teach the brain to obey conviction over feeling. That's why faith is neural discipline, and discipline is faith in motion. And once you reach that point, there's a scientific way to reawaken motivation. If you want motivation back, don't chase it. Recreate the conditions that generate dopamine, ethically and deliberately. Novelty in microforms, small changes, new route, new exercise, new book, reprime the reward system, progress tracking, journals, checklists, visual proof of effort, release dopamine through completion. Intermittent rewards, reward yourself only after long effort. Retrain the brain to value delay over impulse, or purpose reminders. Revisit your why daily. Write it, read it, anchor every action to meaning. Follow these steps long enough, and something subtle begins to happen. Eventually, the fog lifts, not suddenly, but subtly. You notice movement again, not because you feel like it, but because you've become the man who moves anyway. Motivation returns as a byproduct, not a requirement. That's the final stage of transformation, action without permission. Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But what he didn't say is that finding your why often requires losing every reason that came before it. And that's when you become dangerous, not because you feel strong, but because you endure. The boy chases emotion. The man serves order. Each day you act without feeling like it. You carve a new definition of strength. And that's why you're dangerous now. Because you've stopped depending on motivation. You've become the reason your life moves. If this reached you, subscribe and stay close. More lessons are coming, each one a step deeper into awareness, discipline, and the quiet strength of a man who endures. This is the Marble Sage, where masculinity is forged, not faked.